Former Turing Pharmaceutical CEO Martin Shkreli set to testify before Congress later today. In my interview with him earlier in this week, in an exclusive, Shkreli announced his plans to plead the Fifth. He also said he would love to start a fight with Congress.
I'm not a shy person. I would love to talk to Congress. I would berate them. I would insult them. I would try to have a cordial discussion, but I'm sure it would devolve very quickly into a fight. And, you know, I would do it behind closed doors. I would do it under immunity. They don't want to do any of those things. Right. They just want this to be a circus.
They want you in front of the cameras.
That's it.
Joining me now is House Oversight Committee Chairman and Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning.
So you heard him. Is that what this is all about?
No, we want to have a serious discussion. We got Turing, we have Valiant, we have the EPA there. We're trying to have a discussion about the pricing of drugs, and we hope that he will actually testify.
Well, you know, when he raised that drug, HIV drug, by 5,000%, you know, the whole world turned on him. I mean, you know, really, as he really looked like a profiteer. I want to get your take on this, because on the one hand, I know you don't want to control markets, right? You believe in free markets. On the other hand, what? Look at these numbers. The wholesale price for 30 of the top-selling U.S. drugs increased 76% between 2010 and 2014, which represents 8 times general inflation. What do you do about it?
Well, I think most of my questions are actually going to go to the to the FDA, and my question is for them is, look, basic economics, if you're going to have a rapid rise in price, in this case with Turing, when a drug goes from less than $20 to more than $700, that invites competition. But when you have more than 3,000 drugs in the backlog at the FDA, what is it that they're doing to accelerate that? And I do want to ask Mr. Shkreli and some of the others that will be testifying about these priority review vouchers that you're able to go in and get for these drugs that we're trying to develop for people that are affected by, you know, less than 2,000 Americans a year. But, you know, these companies are acquiring these, turning them around in the market and selling them for literally hundreds of millions of dollars just so a company can get a 4-month jump start. And so that begs a lot of questions, and I think Turing and Valiant are the right companies to get their perspective if we're going to have a balanced hearing.
Yeah, so on the one hand, we need the FDA to work better because they need to be able to get drugs out so the competitive process continues. Because the truth is, after Shkreli raised the drug by 5,000%, all the way up to $750 a pill, another smaller company comes out and says, guess what? We're going to offer a generic for $1 a pill.
Yeah, they really could. Look, this is a drug that's been out there for decades, but when you have people that have to take this pill or they're going to die, if you're in the marketplace and you see it rise more than to $700, you as an entrepreneur might say, hey, I'm going to get into that market. There's compounding pharmacies. There are other things. That's why we're trying to have a serious discussion and not just have a circus, as he suggests.
Yeah, I know. I think it's a really important discussion, and I know that America appreciates you taking this up. But let me ask you this. How damaging is it for this guy to look so, you know, arrogant? And I mean, is that why you're seeing sort of a pile-on and people want to make sure that, you know, they get him on anything, like the securities fraud charges that he's facing?
No, look, I know he's under indictment. I don't have any plans to even ask him about that, and obviously he's not even going to be able to talk about that. But we're going to ask him a series of questions.
Yeah.
That I mean, he has the right to plead the Fifth, but I don't know that he's necessarily done anything illegally. But I want to give him a chance to do that. If we're going to have a broad discussion about the pricing of drugs, I think this is the right way to do it.
I think he really wants to have that discussion with you, but he said he's going to take the Fifth, and his lawyer said he's not saying a word.
Well, again, until he's actually here, because he said the whole gambit. He said he can't wait to come to Congress. He would school us. He would do all these negative things about us. We'll ask him the questions and see if he wants to plead the Fifth or if he'll actually answer a serious question. And he wants to be a player. So let's have him come to Congress and stand up for himself and tell the world why he thinks what he did is right. Because I've heard him say he didn't raise the price high enough.
Exactly. We want to get to my panel here because we've got questions on other issues. But let me ask you this. If we were to see, for example, an Alzheimer's drug on the market, right, a cure for Alzheimer's, we know that if you live to the age of 85, 1 in 2 people will get Alzheimer's. Can you actually say, you know, it's going to be capped at a certain price? I mean, there's no Alzheimer's drug on the market. If an Alzheimer's drug comes on the market, you know, how can the government say a company that created it is not going to be able to charge whatever they can charge?
Well, look, there's going to be a strong profit motive, but what I don't want are government price controls.
Exactly.
That's the thing that I want to avoid. And so how do you get that competition? And again, that's where the focus is very quickly, I think, going to go back to the FDA and how they go through this approval process. Because right now, Maria, we got this huge backlog of more than 3,000 drugs ready to come on the marketplace. I think that would improve the quality of people's lives and help drive down prices.